blessed always, for the arms of God surround us. Let our joy be so triumphant that we rest in God. Say amen, that we rest in God. Say amen.
Good morning. Welcome to everyone here today. I'm Wendy Erickson. I'm your worship assistant, and I'm kind of filling in the little things that Kathy does as she is gone today. I want to let you know that Unity North Spiritual Center is part of the worldwide unity movement that started in 1890 with Charles and Myrtle Fillmore. We're an inclusive community, so whoever you are, wherever you are on your spiritual journey, you are welcome here. Unity Worldwide is headquartered near Lee's Summit, Missouri, which has been holding continuous prayers on their campus for 133 years. Prayer is the heart and soul of Unity teachings. And Reverend Kathy today is visiting her family in California, and we are very privileged to have Reverend Barbara Winter Martin here, providing our meditation and our lesson. We're very grateful. So welcome, Reverend Barbara, again, and thank you for being here. Now let us say our vision and mission statements. So on your screen, you will see our vision statement. Let's repeat it together. Centered in prayer, we create for all a world of love, harmony, and abundance. And our mission statement is celebrating spirit, exploring truths, awakening hearts, inspiring minds. Sorry, it's partially taken off for me. I apologize, I fumbled there. And now Bill will lead us in our opening song, and we'd like everyone to stand if you would, please.
Today I choose abundance and universal good. Everything unfolds for me exactly as it should. God in me can do anything, myself I know not how. God in me can do anything, and I accept it. Today I
The life that it has really is only its place.
Let my judgment go. The Christ in me loves everything.
I thought it was 5.
I know. God in me
I
can
can't
do
remember.
anything.
5:45?
Myself.
Right after you?
Did he bark again?
And again, good morning to everyone. This is the time in our service when we greet one another. We get to say hello. If you are on Zoom, please turn on your cameras if you are able. And who is joining us for the first time today on Zoom? And could you please wave if that's the case? You can wave anyway too, we like it, so. And if you can unmute yourself, tell us where you're from if you're new, but I don't think anybody's new. I think we got everybody, all right. And if you're in the sanctuary and new, Can you wave and let us know? I think everyone's an old timer. That's what we call you. Okay. But you can also turn around and wave to everybody so they can see you on Zoom. We got folks standing in the aisle and turning around doing that, all right? And again, we welcome you. Thank you for being here. It is our delight to have everyone here today. So this is the time next when we take a moment for prayer requests. That activity that we just did of greeting one another helps bring us all solidly here together as a group and makes our prayers more powerful. So please take a breath or two to further center ourselves, as that centering started with the time, as I said, when we greeted each other. Breathe in, and you bring peace, love, and joy within. Feel that. And as you release your breath, the stress, worry, and fear leaves you on the exhale. And instead of saying our requests out loud, we invite you to speak a name or prayer request silently in the sanctuary or aloud in the privacy of your home if you're on Zoom. We do have a request that we wanted shared. It is from Charlotte Desai, asking for prayers of comfort for her stepmother, Phoebe, and healing for Phoebe's daughter, Jerry. You may remember her as Charlotte Fournier, but Charlotte Desai. We will now, yep, she's there, you know. We hold those requests in silence now. So take a breath and hold your prayers and Charlotte's. And with a full breath, we give thanks in advance for our answered prayers, and we say thank you, God. So it is, amen. Let us remain in this centered place as I read our daily word. Today's daily word for Sunday, June 25th, is joy. I am blessed with indwelling joy. In John's Gospel, Jesus praised his disciples and all who receive their message will experience for themselves the joy he knows. I share in Jesus' joy as I remember I am a living expression of the divine, created in God's image and likeness, just as Jesus was. My ability to express life, love, life, wisdom, and all other qualities of God is limited only by my willingness to live from my spiritual nature. I am one with God and one in the allness of God with all people everywhere. The joy Jesus described remains with me no matter what is happening around me. I know wholeness in the midst of illness, abundance amid the appearance of lack. Even sadness in the aftermath of loss cannot overtake my joy. From John 15, verse 11, I have said these things to you so that my joy may be in you and that your joy may be complete. Today's daily word for June 25th is joy. I am blessed with indwelling joy. And now our musician Bill Mann will be preparing us for meditation.
I'll be still. free. I let go. I hold sweet release until I am still.
And from this peaceful place, I invite you to take a few more gentle breaths. And if you haven't done so yet, I invite you to gently close your eyes. Know that this is the perfect place for you to be, right here, right now, having this experience. And whatever you experience will be perfect. You can choose to follow my words or you can go elsewhere. It's all good. And anytime you'd like to bring your mind back, just take another gentle breath. Let your focus rest on your heart space. And as we relax and reflect for the next few minutes, let us contemplate on this amazing planet Earth that we call our current home. All of creation reminds us of the amazing, loving presence of Godness. All the life around us, swimming in the oceans, growing in our fields and forests, climbing in our trees and soaring in the air, exemplifies God's loving creation. The perfection within each plant and animal, the intricacy and uniqueness of each divine expression reminds us of just how present Godness is. And the interdependence of all of Spirit's creations is further expression of that perfection. Nature reminds us all that we are connected far more than simple proximity. And when we rest in nature, whether literally or in our imagination, our bodies respond to our interconnectedness, our oneness. Our minds and the cells in our bodies vibrate in harmony, and we can sense the ever-present, still, soft presence of the divine. And from this peaceful place, I invite you to reflect on some profound spiritual truths about yourself. For whatever the obstacle, challenge, or problem that may be showing up in your life right now, you are part of something far bigger. You are part of the mind of Godness. Therefore, any solutions you are seeking are right here for you. And as you choose to see any obstacle as a path instead of a hindrance, it becomes that for you. The obstacle becomes the way to your good. And if you like right now, you can bring to mind an obstacle, a dilemma, a problem, a challenge. And then see this issue as a path, a way to your good. Know that however impossible any situation may seem, or however difficult the solution of a problem may appear. See the challenges as simply projects, and then move into your creative consciousness. Inspired action, steadfastness, along with visualizing prayer propels you forward. And as you are being presented with opportunities to grow, you feel secure in the awareness that all answers will gently and clearly unfold from within. You experience a sense of lightness, of clear horizons, and of confident expectancy. The obstacle may still be present, but your attitude is different. You are perceiving through the eyes of God. And according to your thoughts, your faith, and your feelings, it will be done unto you. According to your thoughts, your faith, and your steadfastness, it will be done. This is the ageless old mystic teaching that is unfolding in you right now. And so it is. I just invite you to take a few more gentle breaths. Feel that life energy flowing through you, throughout your body, all the way out to your fingers and your toes, the tip of your nose. And when you're ready, you can gently open your eyes, feeling alert, yet relaxed, energized, yet at peace.
Open up a door for love. There's no need to give it a shove. Love will find a way. Love will find a way. It's gonna turn you around and lift you up and settle you down. Love will find a way. Love will find a way. You may find yourself wondering why love seems too shy to come around. But you will find if you open your heart, love song will start and flow from the inside. There ain't no need to worry none. You just accept it and love will come. Love will find a way. Love will find a way. You may find yourself wrapped up in fear, drowning in tears that you have cried. But you will find if you just let it go, love begins to show, flow from the inside. There ain't no need to worry none. You just accept it, and love will come. Love will find a way. Love will find a way. Love will find a way.
That was beautiful, Bill. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. I didn't realize Father's Day was last week, but I do have one dad joke left. Okay. What did the Atlantic Ocean say to the Pacific Ocean? Nothing. It just waved. Oh, God. And when does a joke become a dad joke? When it's apparent. When it's apparent. Oh, you guys, it's a groaner. You got to go for him, you know? It's the only time I get to tell the really good groaners. I love them so much. Like I don't tell them other times, but you know, we'll pretend I don't. I just want to just take a personal moment, because I want to thank this community. I have felt so loved and supported by all of you for the past months. And this is my second home. And it just has, I just want to thank you all, because that I have just felt your love ongoing. And so when Reverend Kathy asked me to speak today, I was so excited to be here. I went, oh yes, I am glad to be here. So without further ado, this is a Zen story. You might be familiar with it, but I'll share it with you. It's about a king who felt his people had grown soft and entitled. So dissatisfied with the state of affairs, he hoped to teach them a lesson. His plan was simple. He would place a large boulder in the middle of the main road and it would block the entrance to the city. And then he would hide nearby and observe their reactions. How would they respond? Would they use their creativity to remove it? Would they band together and figure out a plan? Or would they, stick with, what were they going to be discouraged and go home? He had no idea. And many openly complained or cursed the king, or their misfortune for this obstacle, or bemoaned the inconvenience, but none managed to do anything about it. And then after several days, a lone servant came along, and he didn't turn away. He strained and strained, tried to push the boulder out, and he couldn't do it. And then an idea came to him, so he scrambled into the woods to find something he could use as leverage. And finally, he returned with a large branch that he crafted into a lever and deployed it, so he could dislodge the massive rock from the road, and it rolled out. And beneath the rock was a purse of gold coins and a note from the king, which said, "The obstacle in the path becomes the path. Never forget, within every obstacle is an opportunity to improve your condition." Within every obstacle is an opportunity to improve your condition. And this became very relevant to me. A couple of weeks back, I decided that I would attend my local council meeting. I'm in Sartell, Minnesota. 17,000 people, not a real big community. So I went to the council meeting because I wanted to comment on something that they were going to be voting on. And so I arrived early, because you can arrive early, you could sign up to be one of the people who they'll let speak. I got there real early and I was going to sign up, and she says, well, you can't actually talk about anything that they're going to be talking about on the agenda. I thought, what? I can't talk about what you're going to be talking about, but I could talk about the weather? Yes. Well, so anyway, so I sat at this meeting, and it was, they were planning to sell the golf course. That we have a little 9-hole municipal city golf course, which I live on. And I get to watch all the kids all the time out playing. It's great fun, and they're selling it. And I wanted to give a comment about that. And so they said, you can't comment, but you could sit in the meeting. So I sat in the meeting for 4.5 hours until they voted. First off, I will not get off on the fact that you have a 4.5 hour meeting without a potty break. I really think that that's ridiculous. But anyway, they had the meeting, and then they voted without getting input from anybody. The place was packed, all with people who were kind of from the same persuasion I was, which we didn't like the idea. And we wanted to voice reasons why we thought it was not a good idea, but they didn't listen to that. They voted, and 3-2, they passed that they would sell it. So the meeting wasn't even over yet. I don't know how long it went on, but we all got up to leave. And I was not in my best frame of mind, because, I'm usually very polite, but I just couldn't resist as I was leaving going, this is very disappointing, out loud. I said it that loud as I was leaving. In fact, I said it 4 times, just in case they all didn't hear me. And that was for each vote plus 1 bonus. And I was not pleased with how this was not how I thought democracy was supposed to go. If you're heard and they vote against me, you go with that. But if you don't even listen to me, you can tell I had some energy around it. In fact, I had so much energy around it, it's like I didn't sleep all night. I'm still agitated the next day. I am not in peace. I am not in joy. This is not my normal state of being, and I'm not happy about that. So it's like, okay, I must do something about that. And then it was helpful that I was, my job works well because I do have to then, read things that will inspire me. And one of them was the book, The Obstacle is the Way by Ryan Holiday. And in that was the story, a specific story about Thomas Edison. And I know a little bit about, I got the light bulb, I got some ideas about Thomas Edison, but I didn't know this story. When he was 67, he'd come home one evening and he was having his dinner, and all of a sudden someone came rushing to his house to let him know that his factory and laboratory were on fire. In fact, fire engines from 8 different towns came to try and put it out. But there was a big fire because it was being fueled by all kinds of strange chemicals from the various buildings that, were the things that he was working on with his experiments. And the flames were yellow and green, and they shot up 6 to 7 stories high. Ultimately, they would destroy all of his work. And Edison, quickly went to there, and then he finally found his son was in the crowd. There was, fire of that magnitude. A lot of people showed up, and when he found his son, he said with kind of childlike excitement, "Go get your mother and all her friends. They'll never see a fire like this again." And his son went, "What?" He was kind of, "What are you talking about?" And Edison calmly told his son, "It's all right. We've just gotten rid of a lot of rubbish in there." The truth was, it wasn't all rubbish. It was years and years of priceless records, prototypes, and research. It had all gone to ash. And the building was supposedly built from fireproof concrete. So they had not insured it for its full value because they thought it couldn't burn. And, he could have wept, he could have been angry, he could have gotten mad at somebody who left a Bunsen burner on or a cigarette lit or whatever else was going on at that time. Or he could have thought about suing the concrete company or whatever that might be. But he didn't do any of that stuff. He didn't get angry. And he could have rested on his laurels, I suppose, too. He's 67 years old. He's already done some really cool stuff. He could have went, that's my sign, I'm done. But he didn't do any of that. In fact, he told a reporter the next day he wasn't too old to make a fresh start. He said, "I've been through a lot of these things. It prevents a man from being afflicted with ennui." Ennui is French. It means boredom, weariness, dissatisfaction. And within 3 weeks, the factory was partially back up and running. Within a month, they had 2 shifts of people working. And it came back around. In fact, despite a loss of over $1 million, which would have been like 23 million in our current time, Edison made nearly $10 million that year. It was kind of amazing. So I thought, well, if he doesn't have ennui, I probably should not either, even though I didn't know what it was previously. And I thought about, what he was doing. He was taking something that looked like it was a terrible thing that happened, and it gave him energy to go and continue on creating new things. And it brought me to Ernest Holmes, which is a wonderful New Thought teacher. And in his Science of Mind, he said, "We know that conditions are not things in themselves. We know that all conditions are fluidic. They flow in and out, back and forth with thought. No matter how impossible any situation may seem or how difficult the solution of any problem may appear, we hold to the idea that spirit has no problems. There are no impossible situations." Spirit has no problems. There are no impossible situations. And I thought about that, and I thought, okay. And then I thought about the Zen, where every obstacle is really an opportunity. So it was like, how do I get peaceful? Because that's what I wanted to do. I had been in this thing that riled me up and set me back. And so it's like, how do I come back in to that place? And Ryan Holiday, in his book, he has 3 simple steps. I like things that are simple. And so the first step is that you change your perception or your attitude. And then, only then do you do inspired action, and then you have a willingness. So, if you've got anything that's challenging, sometimes it can be the macro, it can be climate or whatever, but maybe it's a personal thing going on. You have a personal health challenge, or you have a financial shortfall, or possible layoff. It can be all kinds of things that are going on. And Eric Butterworth, who's one of my favorite Unity ministers and writers, says, if you identify these as problems, there's a tendency to see them as static and burdensome. And with perhaps a feeling of resentment and self-pity. I definitely had resentment, and I had a little self-pity too when it going on the next morning. However, see these challenges as projects, and you turn into a whole different flow of consciousness. You are faced with some opportunity to grow, but you feel secure in the awareness that in the main, the answers will unfold from within. And we know that in Unity, don't we? We know that the solutions are inside us. And he says, and Barry Butterworth goes on to say, and there's a sense of lightness, of clear horizons, and of confident expectancy. It is the same so-called trouble, but your attitude and perception now is different. And according to your thoughts, your faith, and your feelings, it will be done unto you. This is the mystic teaching that is ages old, but amazingly relevant. Isn't that true? This is really nothing new under the sun. If you remember from the Tao Te Ching, the old story about the farmer whose horse ran away, and the neighbors, came to commiserate with him and give their condolences because, oh, how what a bad thing. And the farmer said, how do you know this isn't good fortune? That's that would be an interesting response, wouldn't it, when your horse runs away? How do you know this isn't good fortune? But he was right, because after a few months, the horse returned with another barbarian horse of excellent stock, and they bred, and his family became rich in horses. And his son would ride the horses all the time. But the one day he was riding the horse, he fell off and he broke his hip bone. And of course, the neighbors came and said, oh my goodness, this is so terrible. Our condolences to you. And again, the farmer said, how do you know this is not good fortune? Another year passed, and of course, the barbarians invaded the frontier, and all able-bodied young men were conscripted and went into to have to fight, and 9/10 of them died during the war. So I was thinking about that, and I thought, okay, so I am to say from this experience that this is good fortune. And that's where we get to play with our attitude, that perceive, instead of calling something bad, which was this vote I did not like at the time, I'm going to say that something embedded in here is inherently good for me. I may not know what it is. I may have no idea whatsoever. There's something good in here for me. And of course, we know if we claim something, it tends to be so. Brian Holiday says, seen properly, everything that's happening is an opportunity to move forward. Everything that's happening, even the things that are not our preference, are an opportunity. And again, it's still in our preference. Let's see, maybe you heard of George Clooney? Well, you heard of George Clooney. Now, early on, you might not have heard of him because he tells the story of when he was out in Hollywood trying to become an actor. And he would go for audition after audition after audition, and nobody was hiring him. And he was trying to impress them with his skills and with his, whatever his resume was, that he was an excellent actor and they should want to hire him, and nobody was hiring him. He was hurt. He was blaming the system for not recognizing how wonderful he was, and it just was not working. And he realized he needed to do something differently. And he had to perceive this whole audition thing from a different point of view. And he said what he came to was that the producers and the directors and all the people doing the hiring, they were having, as much as he wanted to be hired because he wanted to eat, they wanted to get the person that was perfect for the role so that they could go forward in what their vision was. And so they had a challenge, and instead of him being focused on what his challenge was, which was eating, he was going to focus on their challenge, which was finding the perfect person that would assist them. So he would go into auditions from a point of view that he could be the solution to the challenge that they were having. And he stopped talking about how skilled he was and all these other things, talking about himself, but he would go in and talk about with this role and what he thought the people needed, and see if that he thought he could help them. And the rest is history, of course. And he just needed to change how he looked at things. And I love, stop seeing the other person, the director, as the enemy, and start seeing them as the people that are just people. At the same council meeting, when I arrived early so I could sign up, since I got there a half hour early, there were two other gentlemen in the room. And they were sitting on opposite sides of the room, and I was sort of sitting in the middle in the aisle. And so, as will happen in a room where you've got just three people, the two are talking to each other. They just do, right? And I'm kind of stuck in the middle of the conversation, whether I like it or not. And very quickly, this conversation became one that I could tell was coming from a silo I do not live in, as information-wise. And this is not helping my peace. I've just learned I'm not going to be able to speak, which is my favorite thing to do. And now also I now have to listen to something that I totally disagree with. And so I was trying to do deep breathing, quite honestly, then, because I was trying to figure out what to do. I'm in this room. I want to stay, but yet I don't want to be hearing what they're saying. And then it was like, oh my God, I started just for a brief moment listening to what they were saying. And then it dawned on me, if these people believe what they were saying, which they did, that would be a terrible way to be, what a miserable, no wonder they're miserable. No wonder they're frightened, because they're very sincere about what they're believing in this moment. And it's like I did a little shift there. Now, I still spoke up because I do. And so I decided I'd get up and stretch my legs and go out into the other room. And as I was leaving, I said, the good news is, I said, what you're talking about is really not true. I just had to say it. But the thing being is that I could say that from a gentle place versus, I digressed again, obviously, when I left the building, later on when I did that, I'm very disappointed. That was not from a peaceful place. That was from still seeing them as the other nut. But I was able to finally, for a moment at least. So, I lose my mind and I get it back, and then we lose our mind again. That's kind of how we kind of cycle through things, is it not? And the goal is to be in my right mind the majority of the time, especially when I'm around other people. So, so you get centered however you can do it, whether you go out in nature and hug a tree, whether you do some deep breathing, whether you talk with another sane person, which I do recommend every day, talk to at least one sane person, and that's really helpful, because that will help us, because it's our perception is key. I mean, it's nothing new. Albert Einstein said you don't solve a problem from the same mind that created it. We've got to get to a higher perspective and seeing what's going on. So once we get the perception up, then what we get to do is do some inspired action. And we'll be inspired. There'll be something that we can do. And do is not actually necessarily moving so much. Doing sometimes is an internal experience, doesn't matter. But we can do something that will work much better for us. And again, we need to be centered first, because remember the ends justify the means, that old slogan, which is ridiculous. Because really what happens is the means is the end. What energy you put into something is the energy you get out of it, is it not? Have you ever been really frustrated and tried to solve something and the solution did not frustrate you also? It just does. It's energetics. It just happens. That's why we still have war, because the idea that war would produce peace, we know, is absurd. Because the energy that goes into something is the energy that will come out. And so I have to be peaceful first. Then we talk community. That's why we do the prayer. We do visualizing, don't we? We visualize where we want to be. We get a felt sense of it, because that felt sense of it is what we want to have on the other end when we come out of something. And I was thinking about that while I was preparing, because I'd been working on a little healing project on my own. If you've got a little lumbago or whatever is going on with you, I was doing some healing, and it was not giving me the results that I wanted. And then when I was reading further in what Holiday said, his last step was willingness, and that's steadfastness, that's consistency. And then it dawned on me that, I don't know about you guys, I breathe more than once a day. Yeah. I eat more than once a day. I could go on. The thing is, but it's like, well, I should just be able to meditate once a day, and that should just do it for me. And then it was like, oh, perhaps, Barbara, at this point in time, if you're doing a healing prayer and you're doing some visualization for myself, that perhaps it needs more than once a day. Ding, 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 ding. Oh, it's like, no, that makes sense. And so I thought, if you go to the doctor, they give you an antibiotic and you have to take it every 6 hours, right? So what if I were to do my healing prayer every 6 hours? Would that make a difference? Well, hence my inspired action was, okay, do this multiple times per day. And sure enough, it worked. It's like, oh, see, sometimes it takes me a while to catch on to things that might be obvious for others, but for me, it was like, oh yes, steadfastness may mean frequency of making sure that I am moving into that place where all is well. Because I want to be at that place where I can be like Edison, and if you see something and his building burns down and you go, oh my gosh, this is exciting, something new's coming in its place. You want to be in that place that Eric Butterworth talks about with that, that answers unfold and we have a sense of lightness and confident expectancy. Because quite honestly, I like the idea of finding gold underneath the boulder. Remember in the first story? It's like, if I hold that vision in mind, that with whatever is showing up in my life, there is the equivalent of gold underneath. If I stop resisting what is and just move into that place of inspiration and centeredness, and then I'm steadfast, that the promise is that all obstacles have within them inherently something that moves me forward in my consciousness and brings me greater joy and experience of my divine self. So my wish this week is that if you run into any kind of boulder, whatever kind it is, that you will be able to experience the joy that comes from using that as a path to greater peace and joy. And so it is.
That was a wonderful talk. Thank you. I'm learning to see those obstacles as gifts, that they're always gifts, and that if I have gratitude for them, I'll find the way underneath them a little bit easier. I can hear a sound like the roar of a hurricane coming to stir my life. Not too long ago, I would have closed my ears and just pretended there was nothing at all. But the voice of my heart, in a hushed but urgent tone, is saying, clearly the moment is now. You better start listening. Better start listening. Open your ears and you will hear the sound of the wind streaming through your heart. Open your eyes. Recognize that the moment rushing towards you carries all you want to be. You better take that risk. This might be the one, the chance that you've been looking for. You can choose to play it safe, or you can step out on the edge to who you really are and what you can become. What can you become? In the fire of this moment, it's all too clear. There is only one life I can live this time around. And I finally come to understand that we are not given dreams without a way to make them real. And my dreams are waking now. I can feel them here inside, changing and inspiring me to reach for the golden ring and test the strength of my own wings. Open your ears and you will hear the sound of the wind streaming through your heart. Open your eyes, recognize that the moment rushing toward you carries all you want to be. You better take that risk, 'cause this might be the one, the chance that you've been looking for. You can choose to play it safe or step out on the edge to who you really are and what you can become. What can you become? And what can you become? Whatever you intend, whatever you believe, whatever you expect, what you choose to think, what you choose to feel, what you can accept, makes you who you are, determines how you live and always leads you on to what you can become. So open your ears and you will hear the sound of the wind streaming through your heart. Open your eyes, recognize that the moment rushing toward you carries all you want to be. You better take that risk, 'cause this might be the one, the chance that you've been looking for. You can choose to play it safe or step out on the edge to who you really are and what you can become. What can you become? What will you become? Thank you very much.
Okay, that was great. And I loved how you changed it to what will you become? That was, oh, sorry, goosebumps. Now it is a time in our service to bless our offering. Since we aren't collecting them live, we do invite you to go to our website, and you can see on our screen here for the viewers that are on Zoom, we've got that, our little, I don't know, what do they call that thing? You scan it. QR code. Okay. Scan that and you can share your offering, and we thank you for that. But if you're in the building, we do have a basket near the end of the door that lets you exit the sanctuary. You can leave your offering there. You can also mail it in. You'll find the address on our website. So let us speak our offering blessing now. Join me. Divine love flowing through me now blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, all that I receive, and I am grateful. We have an offering song that Bill will share with us.
My gift goes forth on the wings of love, and it lands where it can heal and bless. It returns to me, multiplied 1,000-fold, and the universe says yes, yes, and the universe says yes.
Thank you, Bill. Wonderful music. And I also want to say thank you for Reverend Barbara for being our speaker today. We love seeing you, having you here. We're glad it's your alternate home. We're wonderful for that. Let's see here. One of the things I would also like to do is to thank those that produced this. I was remiss and did not introduce them at the beginning of service. So our producers are Martha Burkhart and Tracy Roloff. And thank you very much. Bill Mann was our musician. And we thank you for our inspired music. And Reverend Barbara, thank you so much for blessing us with your presence. We are so grateful. And we're very blessed. And we're at peace. Oh, very happy to. Very happy to. Well, thank you. All right. It is time. Let's see here. Community news slide. Yes, there we go. Thank you. All right. Our prayer chaplain's Nancy Helvig. She's here. Her arm is writ. You can see an arm up. Come on, folks. You can see it. No, maybe not. But you get the slide instead. Sorry. But her arm is up. She's here today, and she's available and will be happy to pray with you right after service. And on your community slide, news slide, you will see her number. If you are not local or not here, please give her a call. Thank you. And we do, again, we're taking prayer requests. We have a form that we ask folks to fill out and mark share. We need to receive that request by 5 p.m. Friday to be announced that Sunday. So we do thank you for that. We also have a special fund that many donations so far to our special fund. We're more than halfway to our goal of $10,000 by August 31st. So we're getting there. It's above and beyond your usual offering. And so if you can take, if you are taking summer trips away, please don't forget about this special offering that we are asking for. This is to pay for our snow removal that we had last winter, just so you know. It's by snowfall. When we get a lot, we're going to have a bigger bill.
If we don't pay it, they're going to bring it back.
As long as it melts slower this time. Okay. And now I have a special announcement. Kathleen Bailey has something she wants to tell us, and she's coming up here with a microphone.
Good morning, everyone. I just wanted to share some updates here. Last Thursday, thank you, Tracy. Last Thursday, we had our family table meal, and we had taco salad, Spanish rice, and ice cream sundae cups. And we served 81 meals, and I wanted to say, just give a shout out to all our volunteers, Anthony, Christine, Diana, Howard, Jan, Jeff, Moira, Susan, Wendy, Yvonne, and if I missed anybody, tell me. I think I got us all. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You guys did an awesome job. And a special kudos to you all because Kathleen and Moira had to duck out early. So we went to a ball game, and I really appreciate you guys covering that for us. Thank you. And then one other announcement, Sunday school. Last week I was here looking for some volunteers because Moira and I are taking our first vacation. And we are going to be out for the next 3 Sundays. I got 2 Sundays covered. I am still looking for somebody to help out for Sunday school on the 9th. So if you are able to help out with the kids, and really it's just have fun with the kids. If you have a fun hobby you do, or play games, anything, it's wide open. The kids just love spending time with adults. So see me after service if you're at all available to do the 9th. And that's it. Thanks.
Back to our community news. We've got a note here for folks that are in Minnesota. We're asking you to mark your calendars for our outdoor gathering, July 23rd. It's a Sunday, 12:30 after service. It'll be at Lions Park, which is near Unity North. I don't know where that is. Why don't I know where that is? All right. Okay. People know. We'll have people that we can follow. Picnic tables, playground is nearby. This is not a potluck, so you will need to bring some food and drinks, but we just have an outdoor gathering. And we don't get to do that very often. All right. And then we have Myrtle Fillmore, Mother of Unity, Charles Fillmore, Father of Unity, with Reverend Kathy. It'll be Wednesdays for 4 weeks. It's going to start July 12th, go through August 2nd. 6:30 p.m. It'll be a Zoom class. This will be great because this class is about the lives and teachings of Unity's co-founders, and it's pretty amazing. Discover how they're relevant for us in this current time and deepen your understanding of what Unity principles are. So register to the class. You just go to Unity, it's online on our website. It'll have a link, and we've got it right down there, Myrtle Charles. Our adult education coordinator is now Rhonda Italiano. Thank you for stepping up to do that. We appreciate it. So if you know of a teacher or a class that you would like to have here at Unity North, let her know, so your thoughts and your wishes, and she can work on getting that to happen. All right. Okay, and the next thing we have is if you will join me in stating our affirmation for Unity North. Join me. Centered in prayerful intention, we give thanks for an overflowing abundance of spiritual awakening, prosperity, new members and children for Unity North Spiritual Center. And so it is. And now we have our prayer of protection slide. Okay, and if you could stand. And join me. The light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. And now remain standing as we have the peace song.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as our Creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous